most bullish is the exact questionings that are being actually asked by both servicers of of both sides, of both DeFi, of both NFTs, in this case of where healthy competition is being more and more evident of appearing. And in this case, it is, as these things happen, it is actually forcing innovation, and that helps really the end user, the user base, because when creativity or innovation comes in, that's asking for the creation of better product.
Alrighty, Rogi, thank you so much for joining me today, man. I'm really honored to have you. I was telling you off camera that you're officially the first guest on Fantom Edge outside of Quantum Miami content. So I'm really happy to have you here, man. Get to know you a little bit. But yeah, I think to kick it off, man, I want to ask you, I know you shared a little bit about your background in chemical engineering and business analytics. I'm very curious also for others I think are wanting to jump into Web3, because now you're full-time, right? Hector Network.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see any insight that you have transferring, I guess we'll call them Web 2 skills for now, into Web 3, and what your experience has been with that.
I'd say almost in any industry that is interested to go into crypto, whether it is part-time, full-time, or let's say interest to get into the motions of being a builder or assisting those that are building. I'd say the most transferable skill, even from my background, is critical thinking, critical decision making. So this is also have to be making decisions sometimes on the fly, sometimes with the amount of research you can collect together, and sometimes it is like in the moment. Those are moments where it can, for some projects, make it or break it, or for ideas of a project to either really launch out their initiatives, their purposes, their value out to millions of people that are out there that are currently on blockchain or yet to be, versus those that are ideas that many have already done and are still not yet past the phase of creating uniqueness or creating actual value that differentiate those from what we've seen, let's just say the past 2 years, past 3 years, that are already like old ideas. So the biggest one, I would say, definitely critical thinking, in that able to work with multiple people, even small teams work, right?
Yes.
And in this case, it is, knowing when to pivot, when to know it is the right time to push ideas, initiate ideas, and when it is that a pivot, or in this case, a reevaluation needs to be made.
Beautiful said, man. Pivots and reevaluating, taking information at the current state. So the next question I want to ask you is, I know you're focused on growing an NFT marketplace on your side with Hector Network, right? I'm curious, what do you think is gonna bring and attract new users into the crypto space, whether that be businesses or consumers alike?
It'll be exactly those two. So for specifically the marketplace that I'm building for Hector Network, called Atlantica, which is a series of NFT services and solutions, both with marketplace, its own launchpad, and the whole project's NFT collection. What is going to make the initial standing out, and what was already seen across all of the NFT space, both in and out of Fantom, are going to be two things. One, the servicing of the business connections that Atlantica will make, and have those be available with the creators that want to work with us, that either start with us or already are established and wants to keep growing their brand, their community, past the dependency of the main revenue stream that I see many creators fight for, which is, or keep having, right, is royalties. I believe that is already enough stress put onto creators, even those that have to take care of the branding, the marketing, the coding, the financials. And I think if a marketplace, if an NFT solution is built correctly, they're able to alleviate some or most of those stresses from the creator, in which they are focusing on mainly giving back to their community, servicing their products effectively, as well as keep growing their brand. I think that should be the main focus. And most of other things can be handled with the right servicer, the right marketplace, the right launchpad. So that's
Absolutely.
one.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what to say. And then I would say the biggest second part is focusing on the exact product that is being serviced. So beyond what is seen currently, which are uh, let's say, items or collectibles that are already known for the past 2 to 3 years that the NFT space is known for, whether it's digital collectibles, art pieces, items that could be rented. Those could be for metaverse or GameFi assets. For Atlantica, we're looking towards integrating product that isn't yet, or creators and businesses, those NFTs that have yet not hit the blockchain yet. So for example, focusing on the exact content that either the NFT has display, or have it unlocked for the user, and what else that content could actually be used for. Like, for example, how it goes into high detail sound clips or high detailed graphic modeling, that the careness for the quality instead of the quantity, I think will make a big difference, not only on Fantom, but for those looking for new mediums of creativity and engagement for creators.
Absolutely. I think it's a perfect time to start. I mean, it's been a perfect time for the last year or so, or a year, 2 years, because I mean, things going on with like OpenSea or Blur, right? With royalties and things like that, right? And like you said, giving back to the community, because at the end of the day, you know, artists or creators, whatever that is, like you said, I don't think royalties, there has to be something else outside of royalties for long-term revenue, right?
Exactly.
So beautifully said, man. Thank you. And to stay on the topic, because my next question is simply about NFTs, right? You know, kind of building off of what you said, what do you think is the future of NFTs from a technological standpoint, as well from a creator standpoint? If you want to elaborate on that.
It was, good points to where it'll come in question sooner or later is going to be what else, or what truly NFTs are to be used for, other than tokens of speculation, or those for fundraising brands. Like, there has to be more to do with it, because otherwise a wall will be hit, and the question will come as to why anyone else, even outside of the blockchain, should spend their time, spend their resources on such products of such technology. So on the technological aspect, it is going to come into question. And I think more of the growth, I see it in my end, is what exact unlock, what exact experience does this product, does this asset actually unlock for the user and for the creators? Like, it has to be much different than what we see currently, which is the focus on more of the financial aspect, as well as the push being made, like you said, those two giants, I would say, in the marketplace, or one of them that new came up, right? The
Exactly.
Blur making its stance. And the main situation I see technological on their end is they're focusing more on the tools of what else you can do with the NFT financially, and not so much about the content that it's unlocking, or the perks that it's able to, let's just say, reward users for loyalty, or reward those that specifically hold this content or interact further with either the creator, the business, or the brand that the NFT stands for. So I think what I'm looking for in the future is more of looking past the how to make a quick buck, and more about what this actually means for me, what I actually value out of this, because it actually adds an extra aspect to that individual's life, whether it's experience, or asset, or creativity, or overall growth of their vision, their brand, experience with their community. I think on a technological aspect, that's what needs to really shine out, because otherwise it's going to be mixed in together to more stuck in the financials as to what ERC20 are used for, right? Like, they have a purpose, but I think NFTs can have a different purpose, instead of focusing on leveraging, on a bidding, on finality of how quick you can catch a price difference.
Yeah.
So
I like it, because I have a special place for NFTs, because NFTs are one of the few reasons I've really got engulfed into the crypto scene, right? Aside from buying Bitcoin, things like that, NFTs hold a special place. So I hope, again, I'm very hopeful. I'm optimistic. I'm also agnostic. I'm also like, okay, what's going on with these marketplaces? Why is there a war going on? But it makes sense, right? So I love your perspective. So thank you. The last question I want to ask you, Rogi, is one that I plan to ask a lot of guests, is simply, what are you bullish on this year? And maybe even looking up 5 years ahead in, with regard to any area, whether it's DeFi, crypto in general, or NFTs. What are you most bullish on?
Most bullish is the exact questionings that are being actually asked by both servicers of of both sides, of both DeFi, of both NFTs, in this case of where healthy competition is being more and more evident of appearing. And in this case, it is, as these things happen, it is actually forcing innovation, and that helps really the end user, the user base, because when creativity or innovation comes in, that's asking for the creation of better product, better service, and better whole experience that is reaching to a point of maturity. So overall, I would say bullishness is on the maturity pace that crypto is taking, both on its growth with those that already are familiar with the blockchain, as well as the whole onboarding process in a way where it's not, let's just say, the mistakes that were happened again and again in the past, which is, again, more focused on the financials rather than what the actual asset can do for the individual. Whether, yes, it could include financials, yes, but not at the point of speculation, more of experience unlocking or product, something that is actually relevant to the end, like almost the daily or even weekly, yearly like life of individuals that partake in such experiences and such services. So I'd say more bullish on that end than like really anything else. That competition is here, maturity is soon arriving, and at this point, this is what's going to need. This is what it takes to actually take up adoption.
Absolutely. And just like you said, and something I agree with, competition, healthy competition is needed, and it allows for that innovation to be built on. So, Rogi, thank you so much for being here. As mentioned, again, it's an honor to have you as our first official guest, right? And I really value your insight. Thank you so much for sharing from your background, from getting into Web3 full-time, your view on NFTs, and your intentionality in building something for both sides, the business side and the consumer side. So really appreciate you being here, man. And I hope to stay in touch, man.
All right. Thank you, Luis. Thank you.
Yes, sir.